James Bond has died before. Not just in the explosive finale of No Time to Die, but culturally. Every few decades, 007 hits a wall where the tuxedo starts to feel like a costume and the gadgets feel like toys. We're there again. The gritty realism of Daniel Craig's era was, to some, a masterpiece, but it closed the loop. As we sit here in 2026, the question isn't just who is the next James Bond, but what is the next Bond? We don't need another sequel. We need a tectonic shift. And there's only one director with the architectural mind to build it, and that's Denis Villeneuve. Most modern action movies are terrified of silence. They hide weak storytelling behind rapid-fire cuts and visual clutter. Let's take a look at Villeneuve's work. Whether it's the orange haze of Las Vegas in 2049 or the crushing scale of Arrakis, he understands that power comes from the frame, not the explosion. He uses maximalist minimalism, giant sweeping landscapes that make the protagonist look small yet essential. Bond has always been a travelogue of the world's most beautiful places, and under Villeneuve, those places wouldn't just be backdrops, they would be psychological portraits. He doesn't just film a mission, he films an atmosphere. In the 60s, a laser cutting watch was science fiction. Today, not so far-fetched. The gadget has somewhat lost its magic. Villeneuve's filmography suggests a different path: industrial brutalism. Imagine a Q branch that feels like a Skunk Works lab, where the technology is heavy, mechanical, and tactile. Instead of an invisible car, imagine an Aston Martin that feels more like a Predator, stripped of its polish and built for survival. Villeneuve doesn't do magic tech, he does functional futurism. It's about making the audience believe that this gear and this James Bond is dangerously real.
Hey, here. Just me for the moment.
Villeneuve has a very specific type. He gravitates towards actors who can hold a frame for an eternity without saying a single word. This is key for James Bond. Daniel Craig has said it himself, that James Bond has an economy of words. Think of Ryan Gosling's haunting stoicism in Blade Runner or Timothée Chalamet's internal burden in Dune. This is the prestige Bond. It's an archetype, a man defined by what he keeps inside. So first, we've heard a lot about Aaron Taylor Johnson. He has the raw, animalistic intensity Villeneuve probably noticed in something like Nocturnal Animals. He doesn't just play a role, he occupies space with a physical threat. In the hands of Villeneuve, Taylor Johnson would lose the superhero polish and find something colder, more haunting. A 007 who feels like he's actually seen things he's done. But if you want to understand the true Villeneuve aesthetic, you have to look at Callum Turner. He's recently been surging in the 2026 betting odds. Turner brings a different kind of energy to the table. He has that tall, rangy, classic British silhouette that looks like it was sketched by Ian Fleming himself, but there's a vulnerability there too. Masters of the Air, he proved he can carry the weight of leadership and the trauma of war simultaneously. Under Villeneuve's direction, Turner wouldn't be just a handsome guy. He would be a high-fashion ghost, an actor capable of blending into a brutalist landscape, while maintaining a deep, soulful presence. It's that prestige quality that Callum Turner has. That makes him a fascinating, somewhat wild card for this new era of James Bond. And we always have to remember, Villeneuve wouldn't just make a movie to sell tickets. He would cast a weapon that fits his world, whether it's the lethal precision of Taylor Johnson or the haunting elegance of Callum Turner. The goal is the same, to strip away the cliche and find the man underneath. One of the things I absolutely love about Denis Villeneuve is action in a Villeneuve movie isn't a spectacle. It feels like a panic attack. Most modern blockbusters rely on visual noise. 1,000 cuts per minute to hide the fact that there's no real stakes. But Villeneuve, he uses the camera, once again, I'm going to use this word, like a predator. Think of the border crossing scene in Sicario, one of my favorite of Villeneuve's films. Actually, top two, that and Prisoners are my two favorite Denis Villeneuve films. There are no quips in that scene. There's no heroic music, just the rhythmic thrum of tires on pavement and the suffocating, claustrophobic tension of what's about to happen. This is how you reinvent the 007 action sequence for a 2026 audience. Imagine a 10-minute unbroken shot of Bond infiltrating a compound in total silence. That's some From Russia with Love, even like Bond video game kind of style that we haven't seen in an extremely long time. I think the last time we can say we've seen something somewhat similar might be in Tomorrow Never Dies. No musical cues to tell you when to be scared, no shaky cam to disorient you, thank you Quantum of Solace. Just the visceral sound of a suppressor, the heavy breathing of a man who knows one mistake could be his last, and the cold, mechanical precision of a professional spy at work. In this vision, the stunt isn't just about the explosion, it's about the gravity of the stunt. Some Tom Cruise style stunt work in an upcoming Bond film. When Bond jumps from a height or takes a hit, you feel the weight of it. Villeneuve's action is grounded in physics and consequence. He would take the Superman out of James Bond and replace him with a man who is terrifyingly efficient, yet physically vulnerable. It turns the action movie back into an espionage thriller. You aren't just watching a hero perform a choreographed dance, you're more so trapped in a room with a ghost. It's that one-take philosophy, the refusal to blink, that would make Bond 26 the most intense cinematic experience in the history of the franchise, in my opinion. It forces the audience to hold their breath alongside him, turning a simple mission into an endurance test of pure cinematic adrenaline. The rumors for 2026 suggest potentially a long wait ahead of us, maybe even 2028. Villeneuve is busy, Eon Productions is notoriously protective, but the franchise is at a point where safe is the most dangerous thing that I think it could be. Daniel Craig reinvented the role. I think it needs to be reinvented again. Daniel Craig, although an extremely good James Bond, one of my personal favorites, had a lot of divisive films. A lot of people thought Quantum is good. A lot of people think it's bad. Same with Spectre, same with Skyfall. I think universally, a lot of people agree that Casino Royale is fantastic. But outside of that, there's a lot of debate on the rest of his work as James Bond. If Bond is to survive the next 50 years, he needs to be an event again. He needs a director who treats the character not as a brand, but as a myth. I think Denis Villeneuve builds myths. And if the gun barrel sequence ever opens on one of his frames, we won't just be watching a new movie, we'll be watching the rebirth of a legend. My question to you is, are we ready for another version of a cold James Bond, potentially even colder? Or are we looking for something a little more Pierce Brosnan?